Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing selections for Saturday the 29th of July. But first, a quick recap. Well, I think so far we've had £13 back on Friday. It's been a disappointing day really. Still two more to run. I don't want to really pin my hopes on the Arab racing horse too much, but yeah, we've got two more to run. Didn't quite work out with the draw. They came they came down the middle at Chepstow. So let's get straight into Saturday's racing. So I have narrowed it down a little bit more than normal. However, it's two main bets, but I've also had, and see if you can, just a small stakes, follow me in on the forecast and Tricast. They are combination ones. Personally, I believe, I'll see if I've still got it up. Yeah, so I believe that the draw may change slightly at York tomorrow. I wouldn't say exactly favoured high numbers. Yeah, stalls 14 and 13 came first and second in, was it the last race or somewhere around? No, it wasn't last race. In the last race that I watched, where Le Beau Garçon came fifth, I believe. I think currently it suits them coming down the middle, but once it's possibly dried out overnight, I think it could be middle with a hint of low. But I am going with horses that are either up near the pace or drawn middle, or ones that run up with the pace that are drawn low as well. And yeah, I do believe it will start heading towards, at worst, horses that are drawn in the centre. So I think it'll be centre to low numbers tomorrow in the sprint races at York. So get ready for me to be completely wrong, possibly again. So the selections are as follows. So first of all, actually, the bet is it's a 65 pence each way patent and a 45 pence each way treble. These are the horses that I expect to run the race the most. I fancy them minimum a place. So let me get into it. So King Gory at 15-2 in the 2 o'clock at Newcastle, paying 4 places instead of 3. Benoit de la Salle has gone there for some quite decent rides. Well, this is his first one. There are shorter price fancies that he's got, but this horse, it was gelded, then made its debut at Newcastle, won pretty comfortably. It was odds on, so no surprise there. It then carried a penalty to its next race, which it then won again. I think it was another all-weather track. So then, on its third run, it carried a double penalty. Well, it went lame on the day. And I think it was probably it's a bit too much to ask to carry a double penalty in warmer company. So obviously it went slightly wrong. Its most recent reappearance at Kempton was encouraging. I never like to see horses go lame or back horses that go lame because it's always at the back of your mind. But I do believe Benoit de la Salle is going there for a reason. Don't get me wrong, he has got a 6-5 favourite in one of the races. But I am becoming quite a fan of Simon Crisford. Simon and Ed Crisford. They do seem to be very good at setting horses up for tidy little races. So this is my first selection, and they won't all be as long-winded as that. Second selection is Ecclesiastical at 17-2 in the 2 at York, paying 6 places instead of 4. This horse is drawn 4. It will be up with the pace, I believe. They messed around with it last time. It generally races up with the pace, but at Catterick it was held up. And to be held up at Catterick, you've done well to be competitive. And you've also currently done well in this lower grade to be competitive with the likes of Quercus, who is on a bit of a roll at the moment. So that's that selection. The third selection is Magical Spirit at 17-2 in the 240 at York, paying 6 places instead of 3. This is another horse, basically, it won't be prominent. It'll probably be tucked in behind the leaders, right down the centre of the track. I believe this is also, I think this one's drawn 8. So it'll be right behind the leaders, hopefully. And then it ran a cracker on good ground behind a horse called Bieltsen. I believe that was at York as well. I think that race is better than this one. So I expect that horse, or this horse, sorry, to currently be hard to kick out of place. So let me just scroll a bit further down. So this is another bet. This is bigger price horses, also with some of my main fancies. So it's I took a chance and I've risked missing the doubles in the fact that missing the singles in the fact that hopefully we have a bit of a good day So I've had 10 pence each way Hines, which comes to £11.40. 15 pence each way doubles, which comes to £15.90. That's a lot. So the first selection, Ecclesiastical, 17-2, 2 at York. Should be up there throughout. Decent jockey on board in Harry Reid, and it's Tristan Davidson stable. Second selection is Bo Pedro at 20-1 in the 3 o'clock at Ascot, paying 7 places instead of 4. I believe they'll come straight down the middle at Ascot tomorrow on the straight track. This horse is, I think it's drawn 15, so yeah, it can be just off the pace. And Holly Doyle, I believe, rode it last time. And I think I've just seen it knocking around in a few big races recently, and I think it's knocking at the door. Third selection is Kitten's Dream at 28-1 in the 3 at Newcastle, paying 4 places instead of 3. This is a shocking race. Nothing really stands out. Kitten's Dream has ran well at Newcastle in the past, but it ran its best races at Newcastle when it was held up. Well, recently it's been running disappointingly, but it's been forcing the pace. Well, I'm thinking if they go back to the original tactics, which is holding the horse up, it could sneak a place. And 28-1 is too big a price to ignore. And we've also recently had a winner from the Scott Dixon camp. The fourth selection is Two Brothers at 12-1 in the 5 past. No, it's not the 5 past 10. It's a 10 past 5 race at York, paying 5 places instead of 3. I was looking through this race, and there's an awful lot of horses that aren't out and out. I think it's a mile and 3.5 furlong. And there's quite a few horses that don't genuinely, or haven't genuinely, ran over this distance or 1 mile and 4. So there could be a few questions being asked just as they're really pressing the buttons towards the end. If it's a good pace, there could be a number of horses that are out on the feed. Well, Two Brothers, I think they're a bit crafty with it, because I do believe that Timmy Easterby is. Well, I don't know why I keep calling him Timmy. I'll tell you why I keep calling him Timmy, because my ex-girlfriend is a blue and used to call him Timmy. So I always call Tim Easterby Timmy. So we'll call him Tim from now on. So Tim Easterby. I do believe he's got a fancied run in this race, even if he hasn't got the favourite. Well, sorry, I think he's got the favourite in this race. Obviously, this is his, what is it, uncle, dad, whatever it is, Mick Easterby. I think it's his uncle. So he's got Mick Easterby's got 2 brothers. Well, it wouldn't be a surprise, or it wouldn't happen for the first time if the outsider from the family won. Well, I looked at the form of the horses, and I do tend to like a big gap between the official rating and the Racing Post rating. And it tends to show you or tell you that they are running above themselves, and the bigger the gap, the better they're running above themselves. So this horse was running okay, but they ran it over 1 mile 6.5 furlong, or 1 mile 6 furlong, and I don't think it wanted that. I think that was just a prep run to possibly this race to keep for a horse that doesn't. I'm just guessing that doesn't want that distance, but still had a tough race, like a good workout, ready for this race. I may be looking at a wrong angle, but that's the angle that I'm looking at, and I think this horse will be picking them off towards the very end, because when it comes to 1 mile 3.5 furlong, it easily stays that distance. 1, 2, 3. The fifth selection is Rock Melody at 16-1 in the 5:25 at Ascot, paying 5 places instead of 3. Basically, I'll be honest, there's a horse called Significantly in this race. I think it's this race. And I told you that I really fancied it last time, but I thought it'd get beat. Well, it didn't. It just about won. It posted a really good Racing Post rating. Well, it's also fancied again, and I do think it's got a chance. But I think it could get beat and then go for the Stewards Cup, where it could have a cracking chance. Stewards Cup is probably worth more than 30 grand. Well, this race is well worth picking up on its way there. But that horse, Significantly, if it doesn't win this race tomorrow, which I think it's got a good chance, I think it's going to have a cracking chance in the Stewards Cup. But I haven't gone for that one. I've gone for Rock Melody, because I honestly believe that the pace will be too strong on in this race, and I think they'll go off too quick. And I think this horse could possibly pick them up late on, or at least run into a place late on. So that's Rock Melody. And finally, Mr. Squires. Well, I'll say finally, this is for the each way bets, but I'm going to talk you through the forecast bets very quickly. Mr. Squires at 14-1 in the 5:45 at York, paying 6 places instead of 4. Hasn't done a great deal, if I'm being honest. It had better form last season. It's not by Roger Fell. It's trained by Roger Fell. It's interestingly ridden by Tom Marquand. Well, I think it's ran twice. It ran okay on its debut seasonal debut, and then it ran a bit of a stinker when it ran at Haydock, but it was heavy ground, so that can be forgiven. It's drawn wide, so hopefully it's the round course, so hopefully it brings it in slightly. He hasn't got to bring it in that far. It's drawn 12 of 16, I think it is. If he heads about 4 places to its left, all of a sudden it is in the centre of the course, turning the corner, and that's how they pretty much race anyway. So it's not really inconvenienced by that. But I think it could put that run behind it. So, and I think you will see a better run by Mr. Squires. Whether it's enough to get in the first 6, I don't know, but I'd have thought so, if I'm being honest. But fingers crossed. Anyway, let's get to the forecasts. These are based on the ground changing and the draw bias changing. So, in the 2:05 at York, I've gone for 20 pence combination forecast and 10 pence reverse tricast. So all you need to do, add these horses. What you do in the Sky Bet section, go below the actual betting and it'll start saying forecast and tricast. Select these horses: Speedicus, Ecclesiastical, Soul Seeker and Sugar Baby. 20 pence combination forecast. Put that bet on, £2.40 I believe. Click reuse selections. Tap on the scroll bar down from combination forecast to reverse tricast and place a 10 pence reverse tricast on those horses. There'll be one more I'm going to tell you now. So this next one is this one. 240 at York. So 20 pence combination forecast, 10 pence reverse tricast. In the 240 at York, Magical Spirit, Lucky Man, Zarzini and Music Society. I expect Magical Spirit to be up there. Lucky Man, I believe, came second in this race last year. Zarzini came further back in this race last year, but it was drawn poorly. And Music Society should be up there throughout. So I think I'm really interested in these forecasts. And if you're still listening, which I hope you are, if you've got a tote account, you should be entitled to a £1 free play spot if anybody's interested in that. They chuck me £1 in every week. Sometimes I put one on, sometimes I don't. The vast majority of the time, I don't. So if you've got this far, if you can give me a like or a subscribe, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Let's get the ball rolling again. I'm intending on giving selections to Sunday because I've seen a race meeting. I think it's Pontefract. So I'll be giving selections for Sunday, and I think it's Monday I'm probably going to avoid. But I will announce that when I give the Sunday selections out. Please be aware that the Sunday selections will probably be Sunday morning. So, the very best of luck. By the way, thanks for everybody supporting the comments. I don't know what to say. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's get going. Charlie Winters, let's shout this horse on at 7:55. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.